Hey ho and welcome. Normally I make videos about video games, but since this is a movie about a video game, I thought, hey, why not make a little review about it too? Little review because I am also little since I'm just 5'2". For some reason I just really wanted to include this short joke since I wanted to tell you that it's fine to be short. Mario gets made fun of for his height by Peach too after all, and she kinda wanted to really get into his pants later on, so don't worry my short kings, that could be you too, maybe. There will be a few spoilers, so if you haven't watched it yet, then close the video now. Or maybe you don't care about spoilers in a movie like this where it's pretty much expected what happens right from the start. I'm just gonna put on some Sunshine gameplay from when I recently played through all 3D Mario games in a row. It took me longer than I expected and it was pure suffering, since I don't know how all this movie stuff works on YouTube, or if some movie studio dude is gonna grab me by my neck and force me into a dumpster if I use footage by the movie trailers. So here we go. It's fast and chaotic, and there's no big twists or turns, and I think that's totally fine. It's a safe movie, like the safe of a bank. I don't think those can be broken into. That's why people mostly just rob banks at the entrance instead of trying to get deep into them, since that's pretty hard. Most mainline Mario games don't really have any of that either, unless you count the Paper Mario games and the Mario and Luigi RPGs. None of the actual mainline games have much of a story, and in one way that's a bit sad, but I like my jumpin' ones without much story and dialogue. And I say this as a big fan of Rosalina's storybook. Little things like that are fine, but this is about the movie, not the games after all. I enjoyed the fast pacing where it doesn't stick around too much around certain story beats and you quickly go through it all. I don't need some deep talks about life and the universe, or have characters have some kind of sad backstory to drag it out in a Mario movie. These characters are already pretty much defined right from the start without much growth. You got a few little subplots like Cranky and Mario's dads being disappointed with their sons, and then them showing they can actually achieve something, but aside from that, it's all just main story stuff. It's also really relatable except for the part where they actually impress their dads. People call it a movie made for Generation TikTok, and it just seems a bit dismissive because I can remember plenty of fast-paced movies as a kid too, and I haven't used TikTok in the 90s because, well, it didn't exist. Not every movie needs to have a runtime of at least 2 hours with tons of multi-layer plotlines or some cinematic universe and all that fancy smancy stuff. Sometimes a movie can just be a little fun thing for 90 minutes, but the second you say that, you will get labeled as some kind of consumer who doesn't want better or deeper things for some reason. I don't mind simpleness, that's what Mario is about for me mostly. Simple and pure fun. And that's what I got. Not saying that it can't be made, but everyone who knows Nintendo should know what to expect with things like this. If they branch out into TV shows or more movies with things like Zelda, Metroid, etc., it would make more sense to expect something deeper with such franchises, but not with Mario. At least that's how I see it. But people can have their very own expectations and get disappointed with them. That's the good thing about having your own opinion. You can have any opinion you want, regardless of if it's right or wrong. Yippee! The movie was kinda amusing at points, but it's not exactly a movie that makes you laugh and then laugh even more. Just some silly lines here and there. I see many people saying the nihilistic Luma was the funniest part of it, but for me that was just kinda lame. Maybe I'm just sick of self-depreciating humor nowadays since you see it everywhere. I like the more light-hearted jokes. It's a movie that makes you smile when you see some cool references or some silly scenes, but it can't reach the heights of like an Adam Sandler comedy movie, and I mean that unironically. I love Adam Sandler movies. After saying this, people will never take my opinion seriously anymore, and well, it's not like people do it anyways, and I really hope that maybe in the next movie we can get Adam Sandler too. The music was great, so many little nods to so many iconic Mario tracks, and then also some licensed tracks which I didn't mind. But if you look at people's opinions online, then those were pretty weak for them. Maybe it's because I don't watch that many movies, so I don't hear most of these generic picked iconic oldies, but even aside from that, those oldies are just really nice to hear sometimes. Maybe I'm entering my boomer stage where I can only listen to 80s and dad rock. Oh heck, I swear I'm not that old yet. The thing about the voice acting is, I have never heard Chris Pratt before or most of these voice actors, except Jack Black. I don't know any of these people, but I think all of them did a fun job. I remember when they announced the casting and everyone memed the heck out of it and said that alone would make the movie worse, but I guess the actual movie shut them up, hopefully at least. But maybe that's just easy for me to say because I never heard them before, so I can't judge if they just used their normal voice. But even if they did, what's so wrong with that? I would rather listen to the guy who talked Toad or Donkey Kong than some other voice actor who actually tries to emulate a Toad's voice, which would be like shredding your own skin with a cheese grater after a bit, or Donkey Kong just making donkey noises or a donkey voice, and I don't even know what a donkey sounds like except the donkey from Shrek. And that guy was annoying but fun, but that's wouldn't fit Donkey Kong because he's a monkey and not a donkey, even though he's called Donkey Kong, which, you know. And I thought it was a kinda nice nod that Charles Martinet got to voice act this random dude but also Mario's dad as a sign of like, hey, you are Mario's dad in some way because you're still the iconic Mario voice that everyone will remember you for. So he's like kind of Mario's dad, even though that would be Shigeru Miyamoto, but in a way they are both unseparable, if that's a word. You know, both of them make you think that's Mario. It's a bit sad though. He could easily have done the real Mario because his voice acting range is huge. The animation, well, it was pretty. I'm not an animator, but I'm somewhat easily impressed by graphics and how far they can go nowadays, and that's pretty much all I can say. It's colorful, bright, there's always something in the background to look at. When they revealed the first few screens and posters, I was a bit skeptical of the art style, but after seeing it in motion in the trailer I thought, yeah, that's pretty neat. It's just fun to watch. Seeing the places you saw in the games before have a different look to them because of the different art style compared to the games, and wishing for the games to maybe look a bit more like this too sometimes. But I guess for that we would have to wait for the Switch 5. Does a movie have to be able to make even people not used to the source material enjoy it? Well, to a degree I would say yeah, but also not yeah. It just really depends on you. I grew up with Nintendo and Mario, so I enjoyed it for its simpleness and many references. What about a person who never played the games? Then it's probably just a pretty generic kids-like movie without the wonder of seeing your favorite plumber on the big screen. It's pretty clear after the success that they're gonna make another one, and maybe then people can get their deep movie about Mario, for sure, right? Because Nintendo surely won't play it safe again with their most family-friendly franchise, if we ignore Kirby, right? This was pretty short, so just like the movie itself, haha, and me and Mario. Okay, sorry for that one. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe we can hear or see each other next time. If you want to subscribe to not miss another video, and maybe leave a like too, but only if you want to. And maybe if you enjoyed the video as much as the movie, or maybe you enjoyed the movie more than this, but you probably did if you watched the movie even. But then, you know, if you haven't watched it, maybe you should see it or wait for it to come to Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever hacking subscription services are on fire right now, because I don't know any of them. Because, well, you shouldn't pay for 500 subscription services, and you can just open an internet website to get those things for free sometimes. Yippee.